if you can describe to people, what is a sugar baby and what is a sugar daddy, just for those who are very novice in the terminology?
Okay, so a sugar baby is typically, and it can be either sex or a non-binary person, but typically a woman who is under 30 years old, usually between 19 and 26, I find is the most common. And they're usually considered the more beautiful young partner.
Okay.
And then the sugar daddy is typically a male and is over 30, but typically in his 45 to 65 range, I would say.
Okay.
And so that usually plays into an age gap dynamic there. And they're the more successful partner, typically more wealthy. Sometimes they're not that wealthy. They're just really generous with what they do have.
Really? So sometimes men who aren't necessarily wealthy are very generous with their money to sugar babies.
Yes. They're willing to, they get some sort of gratification for providing for someone younger and more beautiful and being able to have this girl on their arm, for better or for worse. Some people can be very loving and very mentor-like, and there is no sexual exchange.
Okay.
But most of the time when someone says they are a sugar baby, they're actually typically willing to have some sort of romantic exchange or perceivably romantic exchange for some sort of money or gift. Not all, though. I know that people would assume that all sugar babies do sleep with their sugar daddies.
Yeah.
But it's an arrangement. It's whatever you want the terms and conditions to be. It is a relationship based off of spoken expectations. And to be honest, it can really work out because then there's that much more communication up front going into the relationship.
I do see that as an angle, but let me venture on a different angle here, right?
Yeah.
So there can be a discussion of what everyone agrees to, right? A woman can say, okay, I agree to this arrangement. I do want to have sex, or I don't want to have sex, right?
Yeah.
But on the man's part, the financial obligation is most certain. He can't come in and say, I choose to be generous or I choose to not.
Some can actually, because they might only want to take you on vacations but not buy you gifts or pay your bills. But it really...
But that's still a financial obligation. I don't think a man can come up to a sugar baby and say, hey, I want to hang out with you. I'm not going to be financially generous in any capacity. Right?
Yeah, no, then it wouldn't be a sugar. Yeah, it wouldn't be a sugar exchange.
Right.
Absolutely right.
Right. So now if a woman says she doesn't want to do anything sexual, what is the value that you feel most men get from that type of exchange?
Perceived connection. So having someone to take to dinners, having someone for people to see you at events with, having someone by your side to go on trips. There's so many different desires. A lot of these people sadly are cheating on their wives and want just like, a side piece that's exciting. Honestly, so many people do this for excitement because these relationships, they're not for emotionally available people, to be honest, when you're purely in this for sugar, because otherwise you would be having a real relationship without terms and conditions based on love. And this is based on a mutual exchange. I will be honest, it's not something I recommend. I've just been in this world and I represented a company that really was all about it. And now they're rebranding as I've started rebranding my life. I was with a man 28 years older than me, and I would make joke videos about a sugar baby relationship, but it never was. We were actually in love. And yeah, he paid for a lot of things, but I also worked and I was never his sugar baby. I wish I was, gosh darn it.
Well, let me ask you a question though. Like, you talk about age dynamics and you're saying you weren't in a sugar baby relationship, but let's be honest, like sugar baby relationships fall under a gradient. It's not always black and white, right? So there are women who are like, the full extreme is prostitution. I would assume, right? The full extreme is prostitution. You have a woman who is exchanging sexual favors for money, right?
Right.
Then the other end,
which, by the way, I support sex workers. No shame.
No, I'm not throwing any shade towards sex workers. I'm just giving you,
right,
on my lens, what that end of the spectrum looks like, right?
Absolutely.
On
fair.
the other end of the spectrum, which is purely platonic friendship, okay, between men and women, or if you're into men and men, women and whatever, purely platonic friendships. That's the other end of the spectrum. Having a relationship, right, where there's sex involved, there's like financial obligations, and both parties or a single person, then it starts falling into this gray area. So my question is, what part of the spectrum do you fall under, and what makes your scenario unique to just a conventional relationship?
Well, first of all, I think what makes it unique is I'm truly not attracted to younger humans. I recently came out. I realized I was a lesbian, so I'm into older women still.
Okay.
And I've always been into older women, even since I was younger. It's been this 20 to 30 year. Yeah. My most recent first kiss, like as an adult with a woman rather than in college, she was 62 and I was 28 at the time. She was a hot 62 though. Okay. Double facelift.
What was hold on, because you're saying there's a lot of things here I'm trying to unpack, and my brain is doing like a dance, right? So help me.
There was no financial thing there. It was just like
I got you. So there's two things I want to understand.